All right, let's dive right into today's explainer, where we're tackling a massive design dilemma that plagues pretty much every living room on the planet. I'm talking about how to style a TV console in 6 easy steps. Look, we all know the television is a total household necessity, but let's be totally honest with each other. It's rarely the most beautiful thing in a thoughtfully curated room. Today, we're going to transform your TV area from an electronic afterthought into a genuinely stunning focal point.
Now, if you're struggling to style your TV console, trust me, you are absolutely not alone. It's a huge challenge. We are constantly trying to balance high interior style with the actual messy realities of everyday life. You've got remotes, tangled cables, bulky gaming systems, routers. They're all fighting for space. And if you aren't careful, it can quickly turn into a cluttered nightmare that just drags down your entire room's aesthetic.
The core issue here is what we call the black box dilemma. When it's turned off, a TV is essentially just a giant, glaring black rectangle sticking out like a sore thumb. So our goal today is to make that TV blend seamlessly into your room's design rather than dominating the space as a visual eyesore. We want it comfortable, highly functional, and undeniably beautiful. Okay, step 1, choosing the right TV. Chronologically, we really have to start with the screen itself. You essentially have 2 distinct solutions here. Now, if you're in the market for an upgrade, the ultimate ideal is the Samsung Frame TV. When you press power, it actually displays high-resolution artwork and sits completely flush against the wall, like a prized painting. But hey, if you aren't looking to drop cash on a new television right now, there is a brilliant, super budget-friendly hack. Just pull up YouTube and search Vintage Art TV. You can cast gorgeous ambient landscapes right to your current screen. It is the perfect little trick for when you're hosting guests. Moving right along to step 2, decide on your TV placement. Sometimes a really simple spatial tweak makes the absolute biggest impact. The golden rule here? Whenever possible, do not place your TV facing a main door. You literally never want a blank, empty screen to be the very first thing guests see when they enter your home. So once you pick your wall, where exactly should the TV sit? Well, wall mounting is highly recommended for that sleek, polished look. If you're aiming for a traditional, symmetrical vibe, dead center is definitely your best bet. However, if your style leans a bit more modern or eclectic, an off-centered approach works brilliantly. The secret is simply to decorate around the TV to deliberately balance out that asymmetry. But no matter where you place it, the magic number to remember is 6 to 8. The most common mistake people make is mounting the television way too high. According to the experts over at Apartment Therapy, your TV looks its absolute best when it's mounted exactly 6 to 8 inches above your media console. Trust me, nothing ruins a room faster than having to crane your neck to watch a floating screen. All right, steps 3 and 4, consoles and concealing clutter. Now it's time to actually build out our furniture foundation. To really anchor your TV, you can either tuck it into some built-in bookshelves or invest in a beautiful standalone console. Now, if you go the standalone route, there are a few functional non-negotiables. You absolutely need a hole in the back for cords, and you have to have closed storage to hide your electronics. Listen, out in the open shelves might look fantastic in a furniture showroom, but once you add a glowing router and a tangled mess of wires to your living room, the aesthetic is totally ruined. Which brings us to the real art of concealing the ugly stuff. I actually love this quote from our source material because it hits the nail right on the head. They said, "I finally bought a large water hyacinth basket to dump everything in. My only regret is not doing it sooner." Get creative with this stuff. Use large, textured baskets, wooden crates, or pretty decorative boxes to completely hide those bulky modems from plain sight. Next up, step 5, decorating around the TV. Let's talk about turning that surrounding wall into a visual masterpiece. So if your TV is out in the open, you've got to try these camouflage strategies. A super popular trick is placing your TV slightly off-center and building this stunning asymmetrical gallery wall right around it using vintage or botanical frames. Suddenly, the TV looks entirely intentional. Alternatively, you could paint the wall directly behind the TV a dark color. That helps the black screen naturally blend right in, or add some beadboard paneling to give the space chic, practical depth. And finally, we arrive at step 6, styling the console perfectly. It is time to tackle the actual micro-decorating on the surface itself. If you want to style this like a true interior designer, start by clearing it off to create a blank slate. And then follow these 4 rapid-fire rules. Create balance, be intentional, group your items, and use greenery. Let's break those down real quick. The overarching trick to styling any space is balance. For a standalone console, you really want to utilize symmetry to match the visual weight. For example, if you've got a massive, heavy built-in cabinet on the left side of your room, you need to add some height and weight to the right side of your console to anchor it. You could easily pull this off by leaning a very large picture frame against the wall. It balances the scale of the whole room.
Next is intentionality. Listen, over-decorating is a very real trap. Crowding a surface doesn't make it look styled. It just makes it look like a bunch of clutter. You need to provide breathing room by limiting your surface decor to just 6 to 8 pieces total. And remember, contrast is absolutely key. Try pairing large vases and thick books with smaller candles and delicate ornaments to really build up that visual interest. And that brings us perfectly to the rule of 3. Whenever you have smaller accessories, group them together in 3s. Don't just scatter them aimlessly across the console. Instead, use organizational layers, like a beautiful tray, a stack of linen-covered books, or a shallow basket to hold them all together. Trays are fantastic because they keep things organized while adding a really premium layer of texture. Finally, you absolutely must soften the harsh, hard lines of the television and all that electronic hardware with a great pop of greenery. Real or faux plants are completely essential here. They inject warmth, they add life and color, and they bring an undeniable coziness that cold electronics simply cannot provide. To make this whole process incredibly easy for you, here's a quick functional decor checklist so you can recreate this exact curated aesthetic at home. You'll want to grab an 8-inch marble bowl to act as a chic catch-all, some stacked linen books to use as risers, a large earthy table lamp for that soft ambient lighting, layered brass bookends for a little touch of metallic shine, and a faux potted olive tree to bring in that vital greenery we just talked about. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Which of these 6 steps are you going to use to transform your TV space today? Whether it's finally buying a basket to hide those awful tangled cords, dropping your TV down to that perfect 6 to 8-inch height, or just curating your surface with a rule of 3, you now have the exact blueprint. I highly encourage you to take action and apply these secrets to your own home right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy styling!